UEFA Champions League quarterfinals set. A Hollywood blockbuster in football boots. The Champions League round of 16 this year didn't just feel like knockout football. It played out like a cinematic masterpiece. Borussia Dortmund, Arsenal, Aston Villa, and Real Madrid emerged from the chaos with their tickets to the quarterfinals, each carving a wildly different path, but all equally unforgettable. From Dortmund's breathtaking comeback to Arsenal's ruthless demolition, Aston Villa's fairy tale continues, while Real Madrid, as always, flirted with death, only to rise like the undead kings of Europe. This wasn't just football. It was football at its most unforgiving, its most exhilarating, and perhaps its most poetic. Dortmund. Breaking the curse for Dortmund. The night in Lille was the stuff of legend. The yellow wall wasn't physically there, but their spirit roared across borders. Just 5 minutes in, Gregor Kobel turned from shot-stopper to scapegoat, fumbling Jonathan David's tame strike into his own net. Lille fans exploded. History beckoned. Their first quarterfinal ever seemed within reach. But Dortmund are built differently. They've been here before. They bleed Champions League tradition. Despite missing chance after chance in the first half, they emerged from the tunnel reborn. In the 54th minute, a penalty turned the tide. Emre Can, ice cold, slotted down the middle to level the tie. Then the hammer blow. 65th minute, Maximilian Bayer unleashed a rocket to the top corner. From heartbreak to euphoria, Dortmund were through, quarterfinalists for the second straight year. The Bundesliga may be tough this season, but in Europe, Dortmund still dares to dream. Next stop? Barcelona. But after surviving Lille's inferno, why not believe in more miracles? Arsenal. Statement of intent: Arsenal didn't just beat PSV Eindhoven, they obliterated them. A 9-3 aggregate win in the knockout stages of the Champions League is rare air, usually reserved for mismatches in friendlies, not Europe's elite. Already up 7-1 from the first leg, Arteta fielded a rotated side. 4 left-backs featured. Yet it took just 6 minutes for Oleksandr Zinchenko to curl home a stunning opener. It was his first goal in the competition, and a silent nod to his PSV past. PSV showed pride. Ivan Perisic, of all people, punished Arsenal once again, just like in his Spurs days. But the Gunners kept their foot on the gas. Declan Rice's header re-established the cushion, and while Quade Dioic's elegant strike brought it back to 2-2, the tie had long been buried. Up next, Real Madrid, the kings of this competition. If ever there was a test of Arsenal's maturity and legitimacy, it's now. Aston Villa. Fairy tale in claret and blue. 4 decades since their last quarter-final run, Aston Villa made sure there would be no nerves in the second leg. Holding a 3-1 lead over Club Brugge, Villa landed a killer blow early when Karani Sap was shown red for a reckless challenge in the 16th minute. From then on, it was a masterclass in control. Cold, calculated, cruel. Off the bench came Marco Asensio. Within 5 minutes, the Spaniard fired in a sublime finish, then watched as Jan Marin and Anwar El Ghazi added gloss to a 3-0 win, 6-1 on aggregate. Villa Park was shaking, fans in disbelief at what they were witnessing. Next, Paris Saint-Germain. Asensio faces his parent club. Destiny, it seems, has a script. Real Madrid, undying, they don't always dominate. They don't always dazzle. But Real Madrid always survive. Facing Atletico Madrid at the Metropolitano, they went down after just 27 seconds. Conor Gallagher etched his name into the record books with the fastest goal in UCL knockout history. Atletico smelt blood. The crowd roared. But Real didn't blink. Kylian Mbappé, quiet for 80 minutes, suddenly burst into life, drawing a penalty. Vinicius Jr. stepped up and skied it. The stadium erupted. Atletico thought they had it. But then came extra time, and then penalties. Julian Alvarez missed. Twice. First with his foot, then his pride. A bizarre double touch saw his goal ruled out. Metropolitano fell silent. Real sensed blood. Antonio Rudiger, nerves of steel, slammed the final nail. Real Madrid through. Again, Champions League DNA can't be explained. It must be endured. What comes next? The quarterfinals are set, and they promise more fireworks than ever. Borussia Dortmund versus Barcelona. Can the Germans pull off another miracle? Arsenal versus Real Madrid. Is it time for a power shift, or will the Kings retain their crown? Aston Villa versus PSG. Fairy tale versus firepower. Who writes the next chapter? Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. Two titans. One spot in the Final Four. The Champions League 2024-25 is entering its final act. And if the script so far is anything to go by, we're in for one hell of a ride. Quarterfinals, match analysis, and final prediction. 1. Borussia Dortmund versus Barcelona. Tactical breakdown. Dortmund stunned Europe with a resilient comeback in Lille, but they now face a refined Barcelona side that has rediscovered its rhythm. Barca, led by a maturing Lamine Yamal and midfield maestro Ilkay Gundogan, combines possession dominance with creative spark. Key factors. Dortmund's transition game is dangerous, but their defense can be fragile under high pressure. Barcelona's ball retention and experience in high-stakes moments give them the edge. Watch for Gundogan's role against his former Bundesliga rivals. Prediction: Barcelona to advance, likely by a narrow margin, aggregate 3-2. 2. Arsenal versus Real Madrid, tactical breakdown. This is the glamour tie of the round. Arsenal are vibrant, well-drilled, and tactically flexible under Arteta, but they face Real Madrid, the most dangerous knockout team in football history. Los Blancos don't need to dominate, they just need one chance to strike. Key factors: Real's unmatched Champions League pedigree and psychological advantage. Arsenal's lack of deep UCL experience may be tested under pressure. Vinicius Jr. versus Ben White could be a game-defining duel. Prediction: Real Madrid to win, using their DNA and clutch mentality. Aggregate 4-3. 3. Aston Villa versus Paris Saint-Germain, PSG. Tactical breakdown. Aston Villa are the fairy tale of the season, playing with unity, belief, and no pressure. PSG are packed with stars and ambition, but carry the burden of past failures. Emery's tactical setup could frustrate PSG's flair-heavy approach. Key factors: Villa's strong team chemistry and effective pressing. PSG's over-reliance on Mbappé to break deadlocks. Asensio facing his parent club adds emotional weight. Prediction: Aston Villa to shock PSG, winning on penalties after a 2-2 aggregate. 4. Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan, tactical breakdown. A heavyweight battle between two European powerhouses. Bayern's attacking trio of Kane, Sané, and Musiala is lethal, while Inter's tactical discipline and counter-attacking prowess make them dangerous in open play. Key factors: Bayern's depth and ability to change the tempo, Inter's defensive structure and midfield grit. Thomas Tuchel versus Simone Inzaghi, a coaching chess match. Prediction: Bayern Munich to advance, overpowering Inter in the second leg, aggregate 3-1. Final winner. Prediction: Real Madrid. Why Real Madrid? Mentality monsters. No other club has a better track record in pressure situations. Tactical versatility. They adapt to any opponent and thrive in chaos. Champions DNA. It's not just history, it's habit. Real knows how to suffer and survive. Unless Arsenal or Barcelona produce something extraordinary, Real Madrid remains the team to beat.